broke down all the little nuances about Georgia potentially removing the requirements for barbers and cosmetologists to cut hair. And, I just thought maybe I'd go live and fill you guys out, see what you guys think about it. I got mixed emotions on this one, but I actually did a good amount of research for that video. And yeah, I got some stuff that I'll share with you guys, and you tell me what it is you think. Other than that, I hope that you guys are having a busy and prosperous Friday. I know I did. I've been going at it since about 5:30 in the morning. Here, barber lessons, basically, okay. So every state has different requirements for licensure, and I am not aware of any state in the United States that doesn't require you to at least get some type of a license. And if we start out here in Florida, Florida has the best governor in the whole world, by the way, Ron DeSantis. And one of the things they did here was they took the requirements down to 600 hours. And it was up from 1,200 hours, and that was just for a restricted barber. Now, what's happening right now, Senate Bill 354 in Georgia, which Georgia is controlled by the Republicans, and it was the Republicans who had basically crafted this whole idea. And if you watch the full video, you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But essentially, the Republicans control the majority of the Georgia Senate, as far as I understand it, and it looks like this bill, in all likelihood, will probably pass. That's what it's looking like right now at the moment. Now, there's also a third option. There is a bill being proposed to lower the requirements from, I believe they were at 1,500 in Georgia. They want to lower the requirements to 300. So I think if nothing more, I think that we need to be looking at these and drastically reducing the requirements to become a barber. It is not rocket science. I could name a whole bunch of bullshit lessons that I had to teach for years and years, and there was plenty of times where it was just so stupid that I would basically let them take the books, let them take the test open book. And one of them that I really hated teaching was anatomy and physiology. There is no time ever that I'm working behind the chair and I'm thinking about the triangularis, the muscle at the corner of the lip, all this other stupidity. You don't have to know the technical terms of all the stuff. You do need to know how to sanitize your equipment properly. And unfortunately, most barber schools do not even teach you very much about cutting hair to begin with at all. So I'm not really attacking the barber schools. They filled the need for, giving licensure. They did what they had to do to provide people with licenses, and their directive comes from the legislator and the barber board. They're the ones who have been sitting back, allowing all this to go on. We had to learn about stropes and hones for caring for a straight razor. We can't use a conventional straight razor. You are not allowed to use the same straight razor on every client anymore. There's no massive pandemic around AIDS anymore, yet we still have to do continuing education. Every other year we have to do these garbage packets where companies that do continuing education continue to get rich. And, if I had to guess, they'd probably be lobbying for this not to pass, because then there would be nothing that they would have to do. So if Georgia goes through with this, it might start to set a precedent to other states doing this. At the very least, reducing them. Now, I would think that if you're going to do chemical texture services, perms, colors, things of that nature, you do need to know what you're doing. You do need to be probably certified in some way, shape, or form, because those are things that you could mess somebody's hair up, for one, but for two, you could mess their skin up. I mean, you could scar somebody for life if you give them a perm, or, you have some type of issue if you don't know what you're doing. But the worst that really typically happens in a barbershop, when you have people who don't know what they're doing, you're going to get a bad haircut. And a bad haircut's going to grow out. We're not doing we're not doing heart surgery here, and we make this we put ourselves on this pedestal like we got to be so perfect, and we you know, some of these people have a lot of anxiety behind the chair because they're so afraid to make a mistake. But like, you're not doing heart surgery. Like, if you make a mistake, it's okay. And you know, somebody dropped a comment that I thought was kind of funny. They said the real ones are going to survive. That's true, man. If you're sitting here and you're in Georgia and you see this happening, like, if you built your clientele, if you've been listening to the YouTube Barber Academy, if you've been over here, we've been through this, man. Everything that you do, all right, in this business, you want to make sure that you conduct yourself as an actual professional. You want to show up on time. You don't want to leave early. You need to build your book. You need to get somewhere in this business, and you need to do this with discipline. And if you're a disciplined individual, whether you have a license or not, you're going to have a chance at growing a good clientele, and it's not going to matter who becomes a barber tomorrow. I do feel bad for people who are in school right now or have recently graduated, because the average cost of barber school in Georgia, if you look it up, I don't know how true this is, but according to Google, it says it's $9,500. If anybody's in here tapping in from Georgia, please share your thoughts in the comments. If you guys think that we should get rid of barber licenses entirely and let it be like the Wild West, drop it in the comments. If you disagree, if you think that somehow a bunch of government bureaucrats should be able to control all of this and make a bunch of money from us, drop it in the comments. I mean, you guys can see which way I'm leaning. I think that, you know, maybe there needs to be something. You know, there could be some apprenticeship program. We could do it kind of like that, where other barbers can apprentice other barbers and teach them these things. But going to school for 1,500 hours, it's funny because the news, this is what the news said. 1,500 hours, they typically get done within a year of school. That's bullshit. I will tell you, and that's just in Georgia, that's 1,500 hours. In Florida, you can test out at 1,000, and it took most people over a year to get 1,000. So if we're talking about add another 500 to that, I mean, you're talking about most people who are going to school, probably working a job to put themselves through school. They're not going full time. They're not doing 10-hour days. They're doing whatever time they can do. And God bless them for that. And that's why I started the whole Barber Intuition Initiative, because I know they need help. I know how difficult this is. But the reality is, they are not going to be done in 1 year. That's just not happening. Unless you can go to school, you're a kid, you got no responsibility, you live at home, you don't have kids, you don't work. Yeah, you guys can get it done in a year. But for the rest of the world that wants to take on this new occupation, I just don't think that that's necessary. Now, I was talking with Steve-O. What up, Steve-O? I see you in the room. And he said in the UK, if I understand you correctly, they can cut hair and there is no license for that. Which, when, you know, I'm going to say back in the day, we would see a lot of haircuts coming out of the UK, or just literally from anywhere other than the United States. We would see a lot of fades that look really rough, like those kind of like scumbag haircuts. And, you know, it was style for them, but we just thought, wow, that's a bad fade. And maybe, you know, maybe it was the fact that they didn't have anybody teaching them or whatever, but there's some damn good barbers there too. You know, and I really do think, and I have always thought this, that just about everybody can learn this business. And, you know, getting it to be more accessible to people at a younger age, maybe that would expand the business. And for the people who just got done going to school, look, man, maybe you spent $9,500, maybe you're sitting in Georgia, maybe you're pissed off right now because this is probably going to pass and you feel like you went to school for nothing. That's not true, because when you get your license, even if it's not required, I have not heard that they're going to do away with licensure entirely. I do think probably licensure will still be an option, which means that if you decide to do what I did, move to another state, you're not going to be starting from scratch. You're going to be starting from somewhere, right? If you move to another state with no license, well, guess what? You're going to barber school. All right, you're going to have to start all over. But if you are licensed and you've been working in the field for a little while, most states have some type of reciprocity that they can put you through. It might not be easy in every state, and every state is different. Some states are going to let you get it, some aren't. What's going on here? Got a car parked across 3 lanes. That's always fun. But all right, so we got somebody from Georgia weighing in here. Okay, I'm interested in what they got to say. I'm gonna say, I don't know how to say your first name. I'm just gonna say Taylor. He says, I'm in Georgia. That sounds about right for private school. When I went to a technical school, I do feel like the standards of sanitation need to be taught because of bad habits and apprenticeship. I agree with you. But I also think that sanitization in the barbershop, definitely we all could do a better job, for one, but for two, it's honestly common sense. It is not that difficult to blow out your clippers, spray them, and make sure that your combs and your guards are clean in between haircuts. Like, how hard really is that to do? We're not a hospital. This is not sterilization. We are not doing surgery on people. When we touch somebody with a razor, we're using a new razor every time. I mean, this is not rocket science. I don't think it would take me, I could probably stop some guy on the street right now, and I could say, listen, man, I want to teach you how to sanitize my tools. And I want you to do this in between every haircut for me. So how long do you think? 300 hours? You think somebody's going to take 300 hours to do that? No, this is not rocket science. You're not a tattoo artist. You're not a surgeon. You're not doing anything that's really that difficult to do. You just have to exercise some common sense, which is probably not all that common right now, it would seem. So do you see 300 hours being like, I really don't. I think that what you're going to see if they get rid of barber license, let's say in a crazy world, they get rid of all barber license and there is none, and it is the total wild west. You know what's going to happen? It always does. People who are professional, people who are educating themselves to get better at this, that's your responsibility. You're responsible for educating yourself on how to clean your tools properly. You should be educating yourself on how to cut hair better. Do you think some school is honestly going to make all the difference to you? It's not. I have news for you. You can go to school today, and when you get out of school, you're not going to know shit. It is what it is. All right? Or you can go to school and say, you know what? I'm going to learn what I can at school, but I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to go to classes. I'm going to check out videos. I'm going to go shows. I'm going to try to learn from people. Now you take that attitude. And you're educating yourself. You tell me who's going to be more successful. The guy who just signs up and sits through school and plays on his phone the whole time? Because that's what most of them do. They sit there, they screw around. If you have an instructor like me, I was really just doing my best to try to keep them busy. But at the end of the day, a lot of time was just going down the drain. We don't need no 1,200 hours. We don't even need 300 hours. Honestly, this could be a fishing license. You go down to the wildlife and game and sign up for a fishing license. And honestly, there's all kinds of stuff like that you're allowed to do in this country. You know, you can hunt, you can fish. You know, when you go hunting, you go to a hunting safety course. It's not 300 hours, but you're going around with a firearm shooting animals. You know what I mean? Like, so when you compare it to other things, you think to yourself, like, okay, people are going to get some bad haircuts in Georgia. We're going to have some funny memes to look at on the internet. It's going to be an interesting thing, but I don't think it's going to be all that crazy. And, you know, if this happens, you're going to have 80,000 people are currently licensed in Georgia, according to what I read on Google when I did my research. 80,000 professionals are licensed and they're working. Millions of people live in Georgia. That could potentially be, hundreds of thousands of more people coming into this business with new ideas, new techniques, pushing the industry a little bit further. What's up, Marauder? Appreciate you guys for jumping in here, man. If you guys are feeling what I'm saying, smash that like button. There's 76 of y'all in here. I got but 2 likes. All right. Now, You know, when you get right down to it, at the end of the day, realistically, sound off in the comments, how many hours do you think a person should have to go to school for to learn how to properly sanitize and possibly cut some hair? Because when I left school, I didn't know nothing about cutting hair. I had to go and figure that out on my own. I remember working at Supercuts. First day, I didn't know nothing about cutting hair. I did 20 people that day. And I didn't know anything. You know, I would say by about my third week at Supercuts, I was kind of like, yo, I feel like I could do any haircut that walks in the door. Was I doing it the best? Hey, Brandon the Farmer, welcome to Eddie's Army. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you guys, man, for being members, for rocking with me. And he said, my school is 10 months, Parker says. Misty says 49 hours. He said, do you specifically benefit financially from more barbers flooding the market and less requirements? The industry seems flooded as it is. Jesse P, to me, that's some small-minded way to look at this. You know, if more people come into this business, how is it bad for anybody? There are always going to be people that need haircuts. You know, and at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you, licensed or not, to find them people and to treat them right. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you. It doesn't matter. Like, do you think if somebody starts cutting hair tomorrow that recently graduated, that I'm going to lose a bunch of customers and I'm going to have to go out of business? No, it's not going to happen. I've been responsible with my business. I've been a steward to my clients. I've been good to my people. Like, that's what it really boils down to. So when you take personal accountability for yourself and for your business, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You see, Outback is right here. Outback Steakhouse is right here. And you know what? They're busy as hell. The funny thing is, there's 10 restaurants around them, but Outback is still busy. Why is Outback still busy? South Street's right here. They're busy as hell. There's other restaurants around them, but they're still busy as hell. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. If a couple more industry, do you think that people waking up in Georgia tomorrow, let's say when this all goes through, and Georgia no longer requires a barber license to cut hair, all right? If you want to color or do chemical texture services, from what I see, A19, thank you, man. Appreciate you for joining. Let's go. We got another member. Welcome to the squad, baby. Welcome to the army. But do you think that all these people that are waking up today in Georgia, realizing that there's no longer a requirement for them to become a barber, do you think they're all going to just go traipsing into the shop and make a bunch of money? They're not. They don't know how to cut hair. They don't have the skills to do that yet. All it's going to do is help people who are probably already struggling and give people who are young a new outlet and a new thing to do. And that's always what I've been about. If I wasn't on here like doing all these videos, trying to help all you guys all this time, do you think that anybody who signs up for my channel or my membership, do you think a prerequisite is like, hey, are you a licensed person? I don't give a shit. I don't care. I just want to help you. At the end of the day, I want to grow this business as big as it can be. I want to see this thing get as big as it can be, and I want to leave my mark on it, and I want to help as many people as I can. So that when I'm done and I hang up my clippers and I can no longer cut, I can say, you know what? I made an impact. Hopefully other people can carry on whatever it is I taught them, and we can move forward. I mean, if you're worried about competition, if you're worried about people flooding your marketplace, I mean, if anything, if you're in Georgia right now and you see what's about to happen, and you've been sitting back, sitting on a idea like maybe I want to go open a shop, maybe I want to go, you know, try to do something. Yo, maybe right now is the time to open a shop. Maybe you're gonna have a lot of people who are talented. They've been cutting in the garage, and now you know what? They can go cut hair somewhere else. They don't have to hide no more. Do you think it's safe for a bunch of people that cut hair in the garage and use the same tools on everybody and never clean them? I mean, how is that any better? It still goes on. You know, that's kind of the way I'm feeling about it. I'm not worried about it. I appreciate all you guys who just signed up to be members. We're gonna keep on rocking. We're gonna keep doing it. And he said, "Yo, I'm in Georgia. What country are you in?" Bro, I'm in Florida. What's up? We neighbors. We neighbors, man. He said, "I think that you should be practicing cutting hair because if we become a barber, then who's gonna make the Karen leave I don't know, man. I can't read right now. Traffic's kind of heavy, man. I lost you guys for a second. I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me. Really appreciate you guys. There we go. Now we rocking. We'll talk more about this. I think that my service is gonna keep having issues, so I'm riding into an area that doesn't have that much, but of good service. So thank you to Verizon Wireless and Faya Barage, if I'm saying that right. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with me and making this thing what it is. Let's grow this industry. Let's take it to the moon and back. All right. So. All right, you guys, I will catch you guys in the next video. Salute to all of you guys, especially you people from Georgia, man. Keep your head up. It's going to be all right. The cream is always going to rise to the top, all right? I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out here.